Good morning, welcome to the Oregon Fly Fishing blog. It is spring trout time, so we're going to tie it's my version of a March brown nymph basically. It's an amalgamation of a lot of different patterns. What I've got here is a 3761 TMC with a gold bead. I'm going to start by getting some threads on here. Take a little hare's ear dubbing, make a little ball in the back to splay the tail, which is goose by it. I'm going to wrap that pretty tight so it keeps that tail spread apart. And you don't have to do the ball, but it just makes it look so much better. Goose biot, so we're using a brown goose biot, and these have a natural curve to them. And you can just barely see it. We're going to tie one on each side, and I usually tie them curved out. There's one. If you can't get these things to pick up off your desk, just lick your finger a little bit and then touch the biot and it'll stick. I'm going to get those all lined up. I'm going to use a little ultra wire brassy and copper. Tie that the length of the body just so I keep the body symmetry even. Okay. I like to use a little uni stretch under my nymph bodies if the body isn't bulky enough the way I like it, and I like this one to have a good taper to it. So I'm just going to take a little uni stretch. I keep this on my desk on a bobbin and just shape that body to what I want it to be. And then I just bring my thread up over. Okay. I'll cinch that down with my thread. Next, the body is actually a pheasant tail, and I'm going to take that and pull that fiber straight out from the stem and grab probably a 3/8 inch swath of it and cut it off of there. And I trim the tips so they're even. I tie those in. Now if you want to, before you actually wrap this body, you can take a pair of plain pliers and squish that uni stretch down to make it a flatter body if you want to. It will smash out a little bit if you are so inclined. So then I wrap that material around to create the body, just like a pheasant tail nymph. Copper wire up through there just to reinforce the material and give some segmentation. Next, excuse me, I am going to tie in a piece of Flashabou lateral scale on top. And then I'm going to use some, I think it's Shane Stahlkup's material, but it's a medallion sheeting. It's carried by Hairline. It's a great wing case material. This is a mottled brown, I believe. And there's really two ways to do this, and I'm going to do it the way I normally do, and that's to come over the center, pull it back, and make it a double layer. I always check to make sure I don't have a gap in between my wing case and my body there, the abdomen. Next, some hare's ear dubbing. And I want a pretty buggy thorax, so I'm going to bulk this up pretty good. I'm going to leave an ever so small space behind the bead. I don't want to crowd it, but I don't want to leave a great big space in there. And this thorax, I'm going to build it up quite a bit because you really want to pick this material out and make it as buggy as possible. The other way I do this too is to use the Pettigene tool and make the body with hare's ear and partridge mixed, which is pretty easy to do, and we'll do a sidebar video on that so I can show you. Next, I'm going to tie in a partridge hackle, curved side down, just the very tip. I've already prepped this feather. Sink that in there real good with a couple wraps. Bring the hackle around. So try to tie the hackle stem on the down side of the hook. That way when I bring the shell case over, it doesn't get in the way. Next, I'm going to bring the wing case over, pulling that snug, and pull your hackle back. A couple wraps on that. Bring over your flash. A couple more wraps with that.
That medallion shooting is pretty cool.
It is very cool stuff. And I think I'm going to just leave. Sometimes I'll put hare's ear, you know, around the collar there, but I'm going to put the clear goo on here, so I really don't want to do that in this case. Sometimes I won't even put the clear goo on, but it sure makes it look better. Okay, so I've got clear goo hydro to finish the wing case, and I'm just going to apply that evenly. And then I'll hit it with the light. And I use the hydro because it's non-tack. And there you have it.